Mech Planet Hot Soldiers G1 Style has their new figure here. It's their Hot Soldiers G1 Style HOS or HOS BB. This is a Bumblebee based off of his Heart of Steel or Hearts of Steel design, which was a early miniseries that IDW did back in the day, which was, oh hey, what if the Transformers woke up during that steam engine era of Earth, and a lot of really original designs came out from that. And the funny thing is there was a point, I believe, which company was it? I'm forgetting.
MM.
Well, I think it was Mastermind Creations. Yeah,
Yeah,
you're probably
yeah, it
right.
was.
It was Mastermind Creations in the early days of third party when the ball was first rolling for third party, was doing these, train based, Hearts of Steel based Transformers of Optimus Prime. And, as
They also
time.
did. Oh, sorry. Go on. Go on.
Go ahead. What you were going to
I
say?
was gonna say they also did the Star Screams,
Yeah,
the brothers,
all
and then they also
the
did
Seeker Jets,
yeah, the Secret Jets, and they also did the what was it, Shockwave,
the Shockwave, yeah.
the big
The big
Shockwave.
Shockwave. Which thanks to Perez, he hooked me up with that one actually because he helped a little bit with it. Don't want to say too much.
Mm.
um, but either way, but the funny thing is like as time progressed and this series, because it was just a short little mini series, as they got further away from that series after its debut, obviously third parties shifted their interest elsewhere. So it's really interesting to see this come out of nowhere now and continuing the characters. And Bumblebee's a good choice because Bumblebee was like this little steam engine, and they really capture that very well here. And it looks really cool. And again, like I always say, when third parties trying to do something that's different, it
Hmm.
has 100% of my support here, and it gets my interest because again, I don't see Hasbro wanting to revisit a short-lived, 4-issue miniseries, take when IDW first got the ball rolling. This is something I don't really see them doing, a train Bumblebee,
Yeah,
you know. Actually, it's the funny
I'm
thing
surprised
is,
they don't.
well, I just wanted to actually mention that. The funny thing is, I remember there was an old interview. I think it was, I want to say it was BotCon 2006 or BotCon 2007. They were talking about the choices of certain alt modes when it comes to Transformers, and the different takes. Like this is when the classics line just first came out,
Mm.
and I think it was Aaron Archer or Eric Siebenel or one of them mentioned saying like. Sometimes the choice of alt modes has to do with what's popular in different parts of the world,
Yeah.
and they said that trains, like
Can I guess?
the traditional train, is not very popular in Japan, like the traditional steam engine.
Ah.
And they said that that was the reason why when they did Astro Train for classics, they made him a bullet train rather than the
Mm.
traditional steam engine that he's normally known for,
Right.
because again, in Japan, the Shihoku or whatever they're called there, the bullet train is
Right.
such a part of the culture over there, and I mean that even goes back to like JRX,
Yeah, the
where
JRX team. It's because it's a sense of pride because it's all Japanese engineering with all those trains, all those bullet trains. It's like
yeah,
it's like a sense of pride. So
it's part yeah
I
it's
could
a
definitely see why.
large part of their culture,
I
and they're
could
very
definitely see.
prideful of it and always being on time with them and stuff. So but they did those choices based on that. So it's the same thing today, where you don't really see that traditional steam engine design used with Transformers because it's like, well, we have to sell it in Japan too. Now, granted, slowly, they're going to obviously let nostalgia leak through and go, well, Astro Train was a traditional steam engine, we'll let it slide. But something like a Bumblebee here probably would have not been the case because then they go, well, we got to sell it in Japan too, and they don't really have a cultural connection with steam engines, you know.
Because I would have assumed you would do a more Bumblebee steam engine or train specifically, like with something with like rescue bots or something. You know what I mean?
Well, and
Because
again, rescue.
because in my brain, it's like play school, little kids
Oh
like
yeah, and see, and
trains.
that would exist in Rescue Bots because Rescue Bots doesn't have a platform in Japan.
Mm,
Like they don't, so that's something it would exist there. But that's what I'm trying to say. Like this kind of toy, this kind of concept, this kind of line would not exist in a Hasbro Takara platform, because, and they've established that because of their take on certain alt modes and how they're reflected on different parts of the world and stuff. Same thing with the choice of tanks or the choice of cars or stuff like that. Sometimes it's even a color. Sometimes they won't do two characters because there's too much red in a wave or something. So,
Okay.
but yeah, so you wanted to mention some stuff about the sculpt you were saying before.
I was looking at the sculpt, and the trained alt mode looks really really nice. But something I was noticing about the robot mode was the head for Bumblebee looks a bit flat, and
Very
I'm
you were saying BotCon Tigatron flat.
yeah, and I'm just like, I hope like I mean it definitely has shape to it, definitely has like sculpting to it, but like I wish the head was a little bit more rounded. Like it popped out. Like I'm hoping it pops out in the front and in the back. But I don't know if that's because of the transformation. It needs to be like that, or they might have a lot of space
From
there.
what it looks like with the transformation, and I could be wrong, but it looks like the head folds down into that chest cavity, and
Yeah,
then the shoulders fold forward on top of that head cavity to then make the front of the train.
yeah,
So
probably.
maybe it's more just a space issue. If the head would have been like larger,
Oh,
maybe it wouldn't have.
actually, his chest is like the back of the train.
Yeah,
If you look at it.
yeah,
Okay,
but that's
there.
but that's what
Okay,
I'm
I
trying
see
to
what you
say.
mean. I see what you mean.
His shoulders, they fold above his
Yeah.
head to
Okay.
then make the front of the train. So I don't know if maybe the ability to fold the head down would have been hindered if they made it larger, or maybe the head doesn't fold down at all, so they had to keep it thinner.
Yeah.
It's hard to say without it being in hand. But yeah, it does look a little thin. I do agree with you there. It does look like they're, but it's cool to get a Hearts of Steel Bumblebee.
Yeah.
Like that's
Exactly. It looks pretty
it's still really
awesome,
cool, and
regardless.
I mean it comes with his little hammer too, and I mean the cool thing is Hearts of Steel actually had John Henry in it. So like maybe we might, if they continue this, because now a lot of the third party stuff they're always including accessories. Maybe we'll get a little John Henry figure too.
Yeah, that'd
So
be super cool.
that'd be pretty awesome.